Welcome to the Round Table Podcast. And listen, guys, I am one of the hosts. Yeah,
You're the only host.
I don't like to be in this thing by myself. So I like to say I'm not the only host. So if you come at me, you got to come at everybody else, right? So no, anyway, but welcome to the Round Table Podcast. I am Mr. Bouchel, Antonio Bouchel. And guys, we like to thank you for tuning in. Even if you tune in later on, we're still saying thank you. And we hope that your New Year's has been a great one thus far, even in all of this madness that's going on now. But we just like to thank you for participating. Guys, listen, always make sure to tune in every Sunday at 4:45. Every Sunday at 4:45. Guys, listen, you can even go to our YouTube page, our IG, as well as, guess what, our website. That's right. Our website is going live as we speak. So even if we got locked up in YouTube jail or Facebook jail, no, they all have a jail. If we get locked up, guess what? You can go for free. Well, we won't be locked up on our YouTube page. That's right. On our YouTube. I said on our website. On our website. And it's below the screen, on top of the screen. You can see it. And I definitely want you to tune in every Sunday at 4:45
p.m. EST.
That's right, p.m. EST. And we would love for you to leave a comment even after we're not live anymore. You can still leave your comment, and we will love to hear from you. There's no I don't know about it. There's just no stupid question, but it is a stupid question. You can't say something. It is kind of stupid. So I'm not going to say it's no stupid question because it is. But hey, listen, you be the judge of that, and then we would look into it and see what's going on with what you just told us, what you just said. But anyway, guys, we thank you today in this conversation that we're having. Is very, very important. This is a very, very important topic. Because in this pandemic, we tend to want to eat a little bit more than normal, a little bit more than normal, because guess what? We home, stress is flowing to some of us. Some of us, we still eat, we on a healthy, we still eating healthy. That's not for everyone, but then we have those who aren't. They're just not, they're not eating healthy, be it for whatever reason. But we're here to try to make some sense out of it. I know that in the graphic that you've seen that word. Hey, listen, what is it? My kid is fat. What is that?
That's not real. That's just more of the marketing jargon.
Well, I was going to go into that. I was just trying to say that's what you might have seen. My kid is fat, but guess what? That helps people tune in to see, like, what are these people talking about? Whether the terminology is probably inappropriate, however you want to look at it, it helps you to tune in to what's going on. Look at all that candy on there. I don't know if kids are eating lollipops that big, but hopefully not. Them lollipops.
They are. They are.
So, but anyway, y'all guys. Yeah. So in this pandemic, we need help.
Yes,
we need help. We need help. But guess what? We have help here today. There's some people here some special guests that are here that are going to help us to understand what it means to eat better or to make better decisions, hopefully, in this hour, in these stressful times. I had to cut back on Oreos. Yeah, I said it. I had to cut back on those Oreos. Them Oreos was they're pretty good, but at the same time, I was getting sick off them Oreos. I think I was getting sick off them Oreos.
You was.
Yeah, I think I was. Many Oreos. But guys, listen, that's right. And I'm not saying You know, you can't eat the Oreos. I'm just saying
Moderation,
right?
Moderation.
You can't eat the whole
pack in one
pack
day.
in one day. You can't. Don't put my business out there. You eat the whole sleeve in one day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Moderation. Give the kids some Oreos too. So yesterday for my birthday we had a vegan cake. I'm gonna be honest.
It was so good. Yeah,
that vegan cake was delicious.
And we wondering, like, did they do something? Was it really a vegan cake?
Yeah.
But we asked for a vegan peanut butter chocolate cake.
And I don't know if we were tricked or what.
We don't know if we was tricked.
We've been dealing with the guy for some time now. It's not, we are vegan. We are vegan, and the thing is that this cake was delicious. I was thinking about calling this guy back to say, wait a minute, are you sure this time that this is vegan cake? Because don't have me, feeling some kind of way in my body.
I think people are becoming surprised at how good vegan food could taste.
Yeah.
It just has a negative connotation. You think of vegan like, ugh.
Oh, man, I don't know on this one. I think I'm going to call them again just to make sure. Sure. But guys, listen, lovely, we have on the panel, just talking to the host and the co-host, we have our regular host and co-host on today. We have RW3, we have Lovely T, we have Lady B in the house today, and we're going to get into this conversation. But before we do, Lovely Lady, I get them confused, Lady B and Lovely T. Lady,
hold on, Tom, hold on. You get your wife and somebody else mixed up just for
with the lovely T and the lady.
Oh, okay. I didn't. It's like a rhyme. I was just wondering.
You rapping this time. You got to break it up. Don't set me up, brother. But anyway, I'm just saying. Let's get it together. She's going to talk about who's on the panel, who's here today, and let's get into it.
All right. So we have Michael Ruth with us today. He is a health and wellness leader. I don't pronounce it right. Tawi, Comedic yogi, teacher, educator, thinker, Navy vet, someone who seeks truth and wants to give truth to anyone who is willing to receive. We thank you for coming on and joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We have Jacqueline Lomax. Jacqueline, she's been on with us before. She is the owner and creator of the Lomax Method, an online fitness and health strategy that has helped hundreds of women and men transform their body, mind, and lifestyle. Thank you for coming and joining us again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And also we have Dr. Toomer. Is originally from Ann Arbor, Go Blue, Michigan. And she moved with her family to East Africa when she was 10 years old, and now considers, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Nairobi, Kenya, her second home.
Wow.
She returned to the U.S. for college, attended Michigan State University for both of her undergraduate and medical doctorate degrees.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. Toomer. Glad to
Green and white, shout out.
That's wow.
Awesome.
Producer, I'm still getting, I don't know why I'm getting an echo. I don't know if it's something going on your end, if that other computer on, or it may probably need to pull the audio down. But anyway, guys, we have an awesome panel here today. This is a great panel. And we're going to get into this conversation. And I'm going to let...
So in this episode, we will be discussing weight gain with children and teens and even adults during this quarantine. We all know that when schools are closed, but kids don't get access to a range of activities and services such as hot meals, physical and mental health check-ins, and exercise. Children from marginalized communities may stand to lose even more if their families cannot afford to provide healthy meals and do not have the time or resources to attend to all of their needs. So we want to dive into this.
But before we get into this, should we show the video?
Oh, yes.
There's a video, and the producer is going to play this video to help us get a little bit more into this conversation. And just play it. Just go ahead and it doesn't matter if you just over talk. Okay, here we go.
So much that it may seem like a few extra pounds are harmful, but experts say this is a concern that will be much easier to address.
Turn the volume up
later.
My kids are definitely gaining weight.
Mom Carrie Rodriguez says her 3 boys just aren't getting enough physical activity.
The most exercise they're getting is really by wrestling in the living room, which doesn't afford, the best exercise experience. They're missing gym, they're missing soccer.
Flavia Benson says her 3 kids are going through the same thing.
There's been a definitely weight gain and just a lack of mobility, not going around and running around with friends.
And too much snacking at home.
We were kind of shocked at the weight gain of 2 of my kids, and it was something that was really eye-opening.
We've seen a general increase in a lot of kids' weights.
Beaumont pediatrician Dr. David Obudzinski says he's seeing more children gaining extra pounds than he did pre-pandemic.
They're not getting as much activity as they normally would have because they're not playing sports. They're sitting at a computer all day, a computer screen, and so there's very little activity a lot of times.
Replacing all that activity has been a struggle.
Parents are finding it hard to be creative of trying to get other things for the kids to do that are fun things to do when they have lockdown and they can't see their friends. Our society, I think, has become much more structured in terms of its activities. And so that's created exercise for kids. And of course, all that has been shut down and restricted.
Some families are also struggling to put healthy meals on the table because they're juggling extra responsibilities or they've lost income or employment. Dr. Obudzinski is worried about the long-term consequences.
I really think we're going to see more obesity. I have a feeling it's going to be hard to bring kids back from being at that level of high BMIs where they're considered obese, to bring them back into healthy ranges again.
Obesity raises children's risk of type 2 diabetes and liver inflammation. There's also concern about the mental impact.
I'm worried about the long-term effects of weight gain, not only on their health, but their social and emotional health as well.
I tell parents it's going to be a long time before we get back to normal. The best thing I can tell you to do is walk. Walk with your kids. Go for walks daily. Kids need to be motivated, and it's hard to do that. And then you just tell them go outside and run around, because I hear a lot of kids saying it's kind of boring. The schools can't provide anything. The sports programs can't provide any help with the exercise. So we have to do it. And it's got to be a priority, I think.
Wow, that was actually a really good one. Hopefully everybody could hear it. But just in showing that this is a reality for this Americas. I mean, this is a reality for everyone, unless you live, I think, in Oklahoma, right, where they running around real free. I get they running around.
Some schools are in, some are not. It's a big thing. One thing I got from that video is we're relying too much on school systems to raise our children.
Wow.
So there's a lot of questions in that. What are they really learning? If your kids, are you relying on the school system to provide your kids, physical education, physical exercise? That's something that we should be raising our kids. We are responsible for that. Another thing is the parents in there were saying the snacking. Well, the kids aren't buying the food themselves.
Exactly.
You made that was some great points right off the rip. And see, guess what? I never even thought about it in that perspective in terms of the school. It does show us who is actually taking care of our kids, because it's like we lost how to take care of our kids because we're so used to them sending them off to school. They're doing whatever it is that they do in terms of getting their exercise in, as far as play, whatever you call it nowadays, playtime, recess. I don't know. Okay, playtime. Yeah, and they're getting their activities in, food, eating food. I guess people still pack their lunches and send it to school, but then they have the hot and cold lunches that they eat. So we do depend more on the schools. Maybe that's the reason why everybody's trying to get their kid back in school. I mean, is that crazy or what? But that was a great point. That was a great point. And even to the degree that we are the ones who are purchasing this food for our children, and even going over to the doctor. Now, doctor, are you seeing? Let's put the names up there again. I don't know where they flash out, but are you seeing I mean, how are you guys doing it? I mean, do you do it through Zoom? They come, the appointments, or do they actually come in? Are you seeing children coming in more so than often, or is it just pretty much still the same?
Well, I can say that I presently am no longer in clinical medicine, um, but obesity in our community and our children was a problem before the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Turn that up.
And one of the things that I would talk to parents about is setting a good example. Children will do as you do, not as you say. So if you're, and they're quick to pick up hypocrisy. So if you're not doing what you're telling your children to do, they're not going to do it.
Absolutely.
And so, although there, we're talking about children gaining weight, adults are as well. And so, whatever people are doing as adults, then their children should be doing too, if they're not gaining weight also. And so that means, like the video said, getting out, doing physical activity with your children. Because if you're not getting out and doing it, they're not going to get out and do it. And if you're not eating well, they're not going to eat well. And again, what the other thing that came up earlier was about the inability to have healthy meals. Many people live in food deserts. And so when you're in a place where you can't get fresh vegetables or you can't afford fresh vegetables, even if you have access to them, then it's really important for us to then get information out there on how people can eat affordably and eat well. And one of the things that I've often tell people that if you get, a small bag of rice, a large bag of beans, and any frozen vegetable, you can actually have a full meal and still in under $5.
Very nutritious too.
Very nutritious meal, exactly. And so the main thing is just getting creative.
Wow,
And that's a great question. And I like that point about the food deserts. And that's a big issue as well, because, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of times we don't know that food deserts exist, especially in our realities when you have those who can't afford, they live in different zip codes where, their store is the corner store. Or they have, I can't say different names for various reasons on different stores. I don't want to put different stores out there. But then if you go in certain stores, you don't even see fresh vegetables in certain stores. And that's their reality, where they don't really know that they're eating. When I, this was years ago, right? I went into this, and I'm putting it to this point. I went into this health food store. And I was looking for get my gut down. Let's just be real with it, right? And I had these. The guy was telling me about. He was looking at me. He said, "Well, I can tell you eat a lot of dead foods." And I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Because of the way your stomach, your gut." And I mean, that's what he said. I don't, whether it's true or not, right? You know what I mean? But anyway, he said, because you eat a lot of dead foods, and he said you need to start eating more live foods. I forget what it was that he was telling me.
Eat more sunshine.
Yeah. So I thought about that. I said, yeah, maybe that's what I need to do, right? But my thing is what about those areas? Maybe it's a business for someone who could, if it doesn't already exist, where it might exist. People are educating people in different communities about the food selections when they go into those type of stores, what to get. You get what I mean? What to purchase that would be more, what I consider to be more live foods. You know what I mean? So that desert thing, and I did a documentary on that as well, in urban communities about them some of them have to even travel out of their community and go miles and miles away to a grocery store that actually have fresh fruits and vegetables, which is even kind of hard to find. Knowing you've been to Africa, I'm quite sure that fresh food, which I heard a lot about, fresh vegetables is like a big thing over there in Africa, in some parts of Africa. At least a documentary I seen, they say, oh my God, the fruits and vegetables are, I mean, just like crazy over here, where they eating more healthier. If I don't know how true that is, but that was what I heard during the documentary. So Jacqueline, what do we need to do? We heard them talk about exercise, but what if you have a child that don't want to exercise? They're so prone to sitting in front of the computer all day, every day. And even if the parents aren't people who are just people who like to get up and move around, I mean, what do you do in that situation? Because, we do have kids that they're stuck in front of the computer. They don't want to get up. I know one of them. I ain't gonna say his name. He know who he is, but I know one of them now. He won't even go out. We gotta make him go out and walk the dog, just to get some exercise in. You gotta make him get up and go walk the dog to get some exercise in. I mean, what can we do about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to want to do a lot of things. That's just human nature. Nobody wants to get up and go to work every single day, but you do it because you have to. So for the kids, it's the same thing, but I think the problem is a lot of parents tell their kids to do it. Like, okay, go walk the dog, go outside, go move, and they're not doing it with them. So instead, it'll be helpful to make it a family experience. Like, all right, let's go for a walk. Let's have a family walk together. And what we do with my nephew is we'll play word games. We'll do something like pick a category to make the walk kind of exciting, so it doesn't feel like it's just exercise or this is boring. I wish I was playing video games at home. So we'll do like categories. Like you pick a category and you go through the alphabet. Like let's say we do food. Like go through the alphabet, name something like A is for apple, B is for banana. And you take turns doing that. Or a category might be cities or animals or something like that. So then the child's focus is on the game and you're playing and having fun while you're going for that walk. So doing things like that will make it fun and just making it a part of their everyday program so that it just becomes habit. So it's not like, okay, there's this random thing, we have to go do this exercise, but it's like every day, from this time to this time, we're going for a walk. Like this is just a part of our routine.
Habits are big.
Implementing that, like creating routines is really, really important. And kids love it. Kids love structure and routine, but parents have to be the ones that give that to them. They don't have it. And that's what's happening right now. They're out of school. They don't have that structure. They don't have any routine. They're trying to occupy their own self. Kids are going through a lot as well right now. And I think we're forgetting that. They don't have their friends. They're figuring out homeschool. They're stuck in the house. They're trying to cope mentally and they don't know how to do that. So parents have to step it up and say, let's go outside and go get some fresh air. Let's do this. Here's what you need to eat. As far as the food part, a lot of kids they're snacking. And parents are just giving them snacks. And when you don't have a lot of nutrients in your food, in your body, then you're going to be hungry. You're going to want to fill up off of snacks. But if you have a good, hearty meal, like Dr. Toomer said, rice and beans, that's a meal. Rice and beans, throw some frozen vegetables in there. When you have that, then you're not going to want to eat a whole bunch of snacks as well and sit around. So a big part of it is just structure and routine.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of, and guys, my co-hosts, you guys are definitely welcome to chime in on it. But I want to talk about something else as well that's very important with certain foods. And doctor, I don't know if this is something that your field is in this area, and I guess you will let us know. But what's important to me is right now, because you hear about it a lot, building the immune system, keeping the immune system up in that area. And there's certain foods that I was looking at that kind of like helps. Well, no, destroys the immune system from what I was looking at. It actually lowers it or whatever it may do. What is the case in that area? Does eating unhealthy do you know what does it do to the immune system? Even in this pandemic, when they're telling us it's necessary to keep our immune system up. We know exercise helps, but in terms of the food, is that hurting us in terms of if we do get, the 19?
Yes. My background actually is community health and family medicine.
Okay.
And so right now what I do, I actually founded health, wellness, and weight loss centers for the very reason that when helping my patients, being overweight was often one of the causes for a lot of the other things that happen. And I just simply didn't have time in a normal appointment. So I just created something else so that I could do that. And so one of the things, there's a couple of things that are important when it comes to immunity. Yes, sugar is one of the biggest immune busters there is. And then when you look at starches and carbohydrates, they get broken down to sugar. So you've got to be very careful in that regard. There are some that are healthier than others, but generally foods that are white food, white bread, white potatoes, white bread, white sugar, all those things eventually lead to inflammation in the body. So does fat. Fat cells, or adipose tissue is what it's called, puts out inflammatory chemicals. And so just by gaining weight, your inflammation goes up. And so when your body has to fight too many things at once, the first thing to go is your immunity. And so, but there are foods that do help. There are foods that have, that are high in zinc, high in vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin C. If you're anemic, it also lowers your immune system. There are medications that can do that as well, like steroids, which most of people take for inflammation. So a lot of times, what happens is you have a diet, you're taking medication, and you're chasing the symptoms of the diet, and it just starts this vicious cycle. And so there's a lot of information out there, and my recommendation is always, if you're reading something and in the end it says buy this, throw it away, go look somewhere else, because you can't trust the information if someone's trying to sell you something because of it.
I have a question for the panel, anyone on the panel. I've been told, and I don't know how true it is, along with what we eat, I was told when you eat it is a factor in terms of gaining weight. For example, I'm terrible. I think last night because I just wake up hungry. So I'll get up, have some sour cream onion chips last night, maybe at 2 a.m. Then the night before, I think I got these donut squares and milk, and I'll just get back in the bed. So those, when you eat, is there really a particular time eat and stop before you leave? So I want to know, is that fact or fiction?
In my experience, we all have the same 24 hours in our day. It doesn't matter when you eat. It matters what you're eating and what you're doing after you're eating that. Like those foods that you just named, all empty calories. So you might as well just be eating air. Actually, that would have been more nutritious for you. So, if you would have got up and ate some almonds, or actually, if you would have gotten up and just drank a big glass of water, that would have filled your stomach and you could have just went back to bed. So you would have actually cleaned your system out and hydrated, which is very important. So it's all about what we're doing and our purpose. I'd also like to, I want to agree with Dr. Toomer. I think a lot of focus is on this quarantine, but I think our society is using the quarantine to not really ask ourselves the real questions and take accountability for ourselves. Like we weren't living right way before quarantine.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And now it's just convenient for us to blame, like, oh, it's the schools why our kids are gaining weight. It's the government. We really need to look at the society, like, why are we in this predicament in the first place? Why are we begging for our kids to have to go to school? Well, then we have to look at what kind of job and lifestyle am I living? Am I going to a place where I have to clock in all the time, where I'm stressed, and then I'm coming home and stress eating and drinking a bottle of wine and having to just decompress and then check out of life? So now I'm downing dinner for 30 minutes and then going and crashing out on the couch watching football. Like all of this is counterproductive to our purpose in life, which is to be our best selves. The society that we have cultivated, which is based on consumerism and capitalism, it's capitalism that's killing us. That's what it is.
I'm just gonna jump on the bandwagon because I'm right there. That was the point I was gonna reiterate or echo, is that, you know, come on, like, I'm sure we can all remember being in school. Like, how many of us really ate the lunch every day? Like, most of the time, those kids are throwing 80% of the lunch away. By the time they get to high school, they're in the vending machines eating hot corn chips and Faygo. I'm dating myself, you know, for lunch. So, I think, you know, using the schools in the pandemic is a scapegoat. I think if anything, the pandemic, like it has done with many other issues that afflict particularly communities of color and you know, marginalized as well, is that it's pulled the cover back. So, you know, I think that we do have to, actually, I think this is a great time, right? Because we are in a crisis situation, and typically crisis is the best time to make a decision because you are in this state of like, oh my God, what do I do? So we can capitalize on this and this opportunity to begin to change the mindset in a lot of, you know, families and a lot of homes to eat better and be more conscious. In my own family, because of my own health conditions, I really didn't have a choice to wait till the pandemic, right? So I had to very early on, like late 20s, begin to be more conscious about what I'm eating and am I exercising and blah, 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 blah. So my son, you know, from forever in his life anyway, has always seen me in some type of exercise. Now I'm trying to get him in exercise. And like Jacqueline has said, it's a part of the routine. So in his scheduled day, he has an hour in the evening where he is dedicated to burning some calories. I don't care. You get on the bike. You know, I enrolled him in an online karate class. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, and then I'm trying to exercise around the same time. I bring him in the kitchen. We cook together. So again, everything you all are saying, you know, and it's a practice. You don't just start and you're perfect at it, right? But I try to engage him to try and keep him healthy. And then the other thing is that I try not to make it about being fat, because I don't want him to be overly conscious about his body. I want him to be conscious about his health. So I always try to frame it in being healthy and not so much, oh, you're fat.
Wow, Lovely T, you're like a model of excellence. That was awesome. I mean, that's one of the most profound diatribes you've given us since we've been over. You know, I'm so impressed. So, Michael, real quick, Michael, I don't want to get lost in what you said at the beginning when you talked about the schools where, when I was formerly a school principal, you made a very good point. I would have debates. I'm going to say debates with parents. Like, we would have, you know, breakfast 7:30 to like maybe 8:15.
Yeah.
And, you know, then class would start. I had parents would call me, you know, Mr. Womack, you know, my child didn't get a chance to get breakfast. I said, well, what time did they get to school? Well, 8:45. Well, we're in class at this point. And they would debate saying that, albeit they got to school late, I still should have a responsibility to provide the breakfast, albeit they didn't get to school on time. And I just think, and you made the point about, you know, I just want us to be conscious, even culturally, depending upon the government or the system, you know, to do what we ought to be doing, because it's one major point. A teacher would say to me, well, you know, a lot of our children, they're not getting meals at home. They're not getting this or that at home. And my retort would be, we receive funding primarily. Our primarily funding is for teaching and learning. And we do these tertiary things to remove barriers, but our primary responsibility is to clothe, feed, and provide transportation. So I said, we'll feed children. More importantly, if a child is coming hungry all the time, we need to talk to our social worker. How do we get resources to the family so they can have what they need coming out of the home, as opposed to continue to enable a family? It's the school's responsibility to feed. It's the school's responsibility to provide resources. It's the school's responsibility to, if you don't have uniforms or shoes, as opposed to assisting and also providing resources to the families.
Here's the thing, the big thing on that. We can't rely, like you said, you were a principal who was part of a system. We can't rely on these systems that were made and set up with us, and like we weren't in mind when they set these up. Everyone that looks like us on this panel were not in mind with these systems. We can't rely on these systems that were set up without us in mind. When it comes down to it, especially in crisis, we're the last to be thought of. We're not even thought of at all, really. Like, we need to be real. It's community that's going to save us. That's going to, like, we can't rely on the schools. We can't rely on the principal to feed my child. We have to come together as communities and take care of each other, because that's the strong foundation that we're going to have to build upon.
But I want to add to that. Now, this is for the doctor. I want to ask this question, and Jacqueline, you could jump into it as well. Is it that, or is it just bad habits? We're taking have we taken these bad habits into the pandemic with us? Just bad habits. See, a lot of times we use the school to help us with our children. Like, we don't, because we live this 9 to 5, I use the word capitalism. We have to go to work, we have to get quick meals together. So we drive by the pizza place and buy the pizza, throw it at them, and so we can keep moving. You know what I mean? And now that we actually have to sit down and cook a meal. We have to cook a meal now that we're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Get the French fries out the refrigerator. You get what I mean? I mean, did you eat those chips? Because that'll fill you up until the hamburgers get
convenience.
done. Right. So my thing is it just we took bad habits into this pandemic?
Well, what I like to say is we really don't have bad habits. We just have habits that haven't grown up yet.
Oh, wow. Good one.
And so what you do, and this is the easiest way, is to keep your patterns as close to what you do as possible, so that any change you make isn't so drastic that you end up giving up because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so it just comes down to choices based within the pattern you already have. If you know you're going to eat fast food, and this is something I've always done, often in hospitals we'll give people diabetic diets to get their diabetes under control. And then we send them back out based on a regimen, based on what they ate in the hospital, instead of having them pick their own food, see how they eat, and then getting them under control based on the choices they make. And so when telling someone who stops at fast food restaurant every single morning because it's convenient, because it's the only time they have to eat, it's the only way they can get something to eat, telling them stop eating fast food is not a realistic expectation. And so you look at that person's pattern and say, well, if you're going to eat at this place, this is the healthiest thing you could get on the menu. Yeah. So if you're going to eat there, eat this instead. And then start there and then work your way up. And so it becomes less overwhelming. Parents are already overwhelmed. Families are already overwhelmed. So throwing stuff at them to make them feel more guilty, more overwhelmed is not going to help. And so, and so the easiest thing to do then is to say, based on what you're doing, this is what can help. So if parents say, well, I'm buying a frozen pizza because it's faster, it's cheaper, it's Here's a list of foods in the frozen section that you can get instead. Not only will it go farther, but you won't be as hungry when you eat it. You'll feel better afterwards. Your blood sugars aren't going to be sky high once you've done that. And so it's really education and information, and it's our responsibility to get that out there.
That's right.
It really is. I mean, because we can't assume people know.
I definitely agree with Dr. Toomer about the habits, and there's no bad habits. There's habits that serve our purpose, and there's habits that don't serve our purpose. And until we actually find our true purpose, like, we're just going to choose any old habit.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And I guess we get it. I think at the end of the day, we understand that we should be eating healthier. I think that it has to be this place in our lives where we have some type of, I call it a guilt trip. Sometimes when I know that I'm not eating the way I should, I'll lay in the bed and I'll just think about what I just done. I'll think about it and I'll be like, you shouldn't have. Well,
eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle should be a reward.
That's right. That's right. So, but to me, if I ate too many peanuts, you know what I mean? Because I stopped. I don't eat any candy. You know what I mean? I don't eat any candy. The chocolate cake, the vegan cake, was actually the first thing that I've eaten in a long time. You know what I mean? Because I'm diabetic, so I have to make sure that I keep things under control in that area. And I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's just easy.
Well, what would you say is not easy about it?
Well, what's not easy about it is the mental. So I always look at the mental before the physical. It is up here. It's always up here, and having that control to say, do I really need this? You know what I mean? And some,
will this serve my purpose? Exactly.
And some people, well, I'm gonna say this though, some people are creatures of habit. You can eat something and continue on. Like there's some people out here who I know a guy who said that his family, there was addictions in his family. So there's certain things he stayed away from, and he just didn't consume alcohol because it runs in his family. Addiction runs in his family. He said that's the reason why he stayed away from it, because he didn't know if he was prone to addiction, like some of the people in his family. I mean, that's what he said, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I had me personally, I had this thing where if I were to eat something, I'll stick with it for a long time, constantly eating that same thing over and over again. And I mean, I'm talking about large scales,
But why? But why?
Because it was delicious. And
that's not the reason.
We need to get to the whys though. Like why? Those are the questions we don't want to answer to ourselves. And that's where we don't want to hold ourselves accountable. We often turn to these things because of some underlying issues. For me, it was trauma. Like I lost 100 pounds. My wife lost 80 pounds. She's a pharmacist, and like I was in the surgical field, and I was in this system, but I started seeing like I was giving up. Like, what was I giving up in return for what I was receiving? I was giving my life up for these things that weren't serving my purpose. Like you said, peanuts. Like, why were you eating so many peanuts? Was it just because you were bored? Or
can we ask our W3 why he was eating at 2:00 in the morning?
Whatever sour cream chip.
Well, often what happens when we wake up hungry, we're actually thirsty. And our brain registers that thirst as hunger. And so often what we'll do is we'll reach for something that has a water content, and we just keep eating it because it's not fulfilling that thirst. It's really our body seeking fluids. So if you wake up, that's why what Michael said, drink water first. You may find that that's really what your body's craving.
Well, what if I don't have a taste for water? What if I want some sugar? I mean,
if you want some sugars because you had some sugar earlier in the day.
And if you want sugar, there are hundreds of thousands of ways to get natural sugar. Like you don't have to go Yeah, eat an apple, eat a banana. Banana is one of the highest fruits in sugar. I wouldn't, suggest, cut it up on some oatmeal or something.
Yeah.
But go for that water first. Then if you're still needing something, have a couple slices of apple or something. There are plenty. It's the education. We need to educate ourselves, educate our communities. That's the biggest thing. We can't, like, the times for us to be blaming others. There's we have to, and there's plenty of it's 2021. There's plenty of resources out here free for us to look at and to guide us, to help us.
That's
There's
right.
plenty of leaders out here that have good information, that want to help and save and liberate all of us. And that's what we're here to do, and that's what everyone on this panel is here to do.
Yeah. Now, Jacqueline, do I necessarily have to go to the gym? I mean, do I have to get up, get my gym bag, and go to the gym in order to get rid of these calories, these I call bad calories, good calories, whatever you want to call them. But just do I have to get up and say, if I don't go to the gym, then it's just not going to work for me?
Jacqueline, you want to jump in, right? Go ahead. Yeah. You
have to move your body. So that doesn't mean going to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym to do it. It's a good way to do it. We're as human beings, we're supposed to move. And in the past, that's what we did. We moved. We had jobs where we had to work and we had to walk to them. We had to move our bodies. And now everything is so convenient. Like, you can literally sit exactly where you are, push a button, you got food at your door, push another button, you got, everything you want to order online at your door. You don't have to move if you don't want to. And the body is meant to move. So now the best way to do it is to have a programmed exercise into your routine, since you're not naturally moving all day, every day. But if you don't do that, if you don't go to the gym, that's absolutely fine, but you still have to move your body. That means stand up, take more breaks, go for a walk, park further away in the parking lot, take the stairs instead of the elevator, get up and actually go for a walk outside, move your body. That's all it means. Going to the gym is great. It's great to have that program exercise. You can even move at home, do some jumping jacks, some squats. You could do a ton of different stuff at home, but you got to move your body. Absolutely.
And that's good. That's good. And guys, that's what we're saying today. Maybe you're out there in this world, this internet world, and you're trying to figure it all out. I don't know what to do. And that's fine, because there's people here who can show you what to do. It's fine that you don't know, but you can start to know. What to do. And you can go online and type in and see who are these credible people, and see what they're saying. And each one of these professionals are going to give out, I guess, some information on how to contact them, either way, on how to get help in their area of expertise. So guys, we just want you to understand that there is, listen, calm down. Calm down. I know, I get it. You don't know what to cook. You so used to throwing that hot dog in their mouths and and packing their lunch boxes with Twinkies and everything and sending them on their way. And hopefully they'll get the rest in school. And then when they come home, you feel tired. I get it. I understand. I've been there. I mean, we raised. But I can't even count them now. There's so many of them. No, it's just four. But yeah, it's just, it's a thing where I understand. I was once in that atmosphere where we were just like, what we cooking today? Coming home from work. Let's stop and get them this. Until we had to we had to change our diet for them to catch on. Ours was just ridding meat out of our diet. That was one of the things that we did, but that's just for us. That's not for everybody. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, we had to change some things up, and they followed. They followed, and I mean, obviously they're still kids. Well, no, they're not kids no more. These adults. So they still do what they do, but they think about it. They You know what I mean? They make a better selection. If I'm choosing this, if I'm choosing raw sugar, or if I'm choosing agave, you know, which one am I choosing? Whether it be the same or not, I don't know. You know what I mean? But you know, they are making different selections. Should I eat the candy bar, or should I get the pear? You know, or the apple? They're making, because we're putting it in the house, and they're following what we do. So they, you know, they repeating what we do. I mean, sometimes they go off. I still believe that it's fine to go off every now and again, and to work on what I call the lust of the flesh, right? You get your big cheeseburger or your pizza. I don't think there's nothing wrong with every now and again eating a slice of pizza. You know, I'm just saying, you know, that's just for me.
Moderation.
You know, moderation. Yeah. But I'm also making sure that you make sure you put more green inside of your diet than anything else. You know what I mean? Just make sure you put green in it. But
well, you can make a pizza with cauliflower crust and throw some arugula on there.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can make a completely healthy pizza.
That's right.
It goes I'm about to get this. We're all suggesting, because right now after the podcast, I'm getting this deep dish from Pizza Popolis, pepperoni and ground beef, and I got some spinach in the refrigerator. So eat the pizza and eat some spinach too.
Well, this is what you do. You eat less of the pizza and add a salad.
Right. Yeah.
I do have a question for the panel. Let me throw this out here. We talked about, you know, eating, and we talked about eating healthy and obesity, what have you. Can any one of you speak to the correlation or the causation between what we eat and some of the things that are prevalent within the African American community in terms of health, like hypertension, I read diabetes, the connection between the foods and some of these things that are killing us as well?
Well, when you think about what we eat and how we came to eat what we eat, it was the leftovers.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody was giving us food because it was the best of what they had. We got the worst parts of any animal, any vegetable, anything that we had. The only thing I would say, the only thing that probably carried over from West Africa was our black-eyed peas and our greens. Everything else came from hogs or something else, and it was all that was left over. And we tend to use a lot of salt, which, you know, because a lot of the meats we use are salted or cured. Because again, you know, nobody was going to give us the best parts, the freshest parts of any kind of an animal. And so the thing, we're also predisposed to some things as well, just because our high blood pressure, simply because we come from a place where we had to retain fluids because we were from a hot environment. So that, of course, means that we absorb salt. We hold on to salt a lot more than in some cases. Of course, you know, now over generations, some of that's changed, but our eating habits haven't. And so, I mean, I think that's just, I don't know. I think that's just a well-known fact.
There's a few. I think that if the sooner we get back to eating how, like the diet we have here is because we got put here on ships. Like the sooner we get back to eating what we would have been eating if we stayed where we came from, like that's what our bodies need. That's what our gut health needs. The few generations that we've been here on this Americanized diet that's been killing us since day one, hasn't, like, our bodies haven't evolved enough in those few generations to differentiate what we ate in our native lands, our heritage diets. You know, it's amazing what our bodies can do and what they can tolerate. Also, stress. Without proper ways to manage stress, on top of poor dietary habits, on top of poor just lifestyle choices, staying up late, drinking alcohol, overworking, not exercising, like we're putting ourselves in an early grave. And we have to take a step back and really value ourselves again. Because the narrative that we've been taught is, we didn't have value, but we do. In Americans' eyes, we lost our value the day that slavery ended. Like, we were more valuable as slaves. And once that day started, all these systems that were put in place were meant to destroy us. So like I said, we have to come back to community and help ourselves, educate ourselves, and lift ourselves up.
So how do we go against, and this is for the whole panel, piggybacking off of your comment, how do we go against, one of our audience members said a lot of TV ads for fast food plus prescription drugs, not for eating healthy. So we're up against a huge machine when you just think about those two things alone. If you look at them in a silo, like you just look at, marketing, and then you look at the prescription drug industry, pharmaceutical industry.
It's a cycle.
So
what
are we?
That's why I left the medical field, because I started feeling a certain way about the care, the care that I was giving my patients. Like, it was sick care. It wasn't health care. It was putting Band-Aids. It was compounding Band-Aids on Band-Aids on Band-Aids and sending them back out. What we have to look at is the systems. Like, I was in it. I was overworked and everything, and started seeing myself in my patients.
Wow.
And that's why I was like, I need to get out of this completely, because you can't have one foot in or the other.
That's right.
It's like I said, it's meant to destroy us, and we have to get back to valuing ourselves.
That's right. That's so true. I was diagnosed with hyperthyroid. I was diagnosed with hyperthyroid back in it's been now a couple of months. February, yeah, and I was I was losing like a lot of weight, just losing weight. And my doctor was, she told me, hey, listen, I need you to take that methorazine, whatever it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I will look it up online, and I'm be honest, I was frightened of it. What was in it, and the point to me, I don't want to speak on it because some people might be taking this online. I got to be responsible, but I just did. It was challenging for me to take it because what I seen that was in it, and what it caused and what it can do, blase, whatever. So anyway, she put me on 10 milligrams. And, I wouldn't take it. I just wouldn't take it. And I would go to the doctor, and she would say, well, you're going to have to take it. And I said, yeah, well, let me try everything before I even try this. Let me just do some research, because I need to try some other things out here. There have to be something else out here. So, and I'm gonna be honest, I tried a whole lot. Vitamin D, tried vitamin D, a lot of herbs. I was just trying so much diet for the gut, gut health, because leaky gut causes a lot of problems. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not throwing this. I'm just telling you what I did. Leaky gut and different things for that probiotics or whatever you might call it. I was just trying to, but I'll go back to the doctor, still losing weight. I was losing weight, because I was already vegan. So, I'm not eating. So I'm just drop it. And listen, I'm talking about 245 to 219, so just drop it. And this was recent, I'm gaining weight back now, right? So I just said, I just gave up, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking the pills, because I just started feeling terrible, So, but here's the thing, I was taking it, and my wife would go on forums with people who were doing the same thing, and they looked at, again, we're not doctors, so we're not saying please don't think we are. We're not. So anyway, one of the ladies were like, well, it seemed like he's taking too much if he's feeling, I'm talking about, it was days I was in tears. I'm talking about straight tears, what I was going through mentally and everything else, right? So the lady was like, well, maybe he's taking too much, and they said, and my wife was like, cut it in half, So, I still just wouldn't take it. So I went back to the doctor and I told the doctor, I said, listen, I'm getting these people say, listen, you may be taking too much. You're taking 10 milligrams. So I said, I'm going to cut it in half. And she said, well, I don't recommend you do that. I said, listen, if I'm going to take this, I want to start slow. I want to start slow. I don't want you just ramming this in me. So, again, for me, I went and I took 5 instead of the 10 that they told me to take. I said, now I'm going to start off with 5 and I'm only taking 1 a day. So I just started doing that. I was taking the 1 a day. Oh, it was terrible. And it tastes terrible. That man throws whatever it is. But anyway, I was still taking the vitamin 3. I was still doing everything else along with this. Went back to the doctor. My numbers were getting back down. They were going down. And she was like, yeah, see what I'm telling you? I told you to take the 10. I said, no. I'm not going by. This is not because if you told me to take the 10, because she would repeat what I'm saying as though she the one who said it. And I was like, no, remember now you told me to take the 10. I'm taking the 5. She said, oh, okay. I said, yeah, because I don't think that's necessary right now for me. So anyway, as I would go back, my numbers would get back even more. They would go down. My T3 and my T4 would start going down to a normal range. Now it's at a normal range, but I never listened. Let me tell you, I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor. Please don't think I'm saying it. They're the professional. I'm not saying that. And I have to say it to be responsible. But I am saying that, I had to do my own research, and I looked at other things. What was the name of the little drops that calm you down? Mother Ward.
Yeah, Mother Ward.
And the other one is
it was a list of them.
It was a list of them. We're just taking all different type of things. And wood, what is that one, that popular one?
Oh,
with the gross taste? It's made out of wood, like a stick.
Burdock.
I think it was burdock. I was just taking a lot of different things, healthier things. And I just started taking the sea moss and all that. But I was just taking different things that when I go online, I was looking to see what helps me out. And it actually, I'm not going to say that the pill didn't have anything to do with it, but I'm going to tell you, she put me on 10, wanted to go up higher. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Listen, let me try this. I'm going to make this the last result. Now, this was just for me. I said, this is the last one. I'm going to look into the healthier area of this to see how I can make a difference. What am I saying? We can make it. Listen, this is your body. It's like a car. You know how they talk about the oil? When your oil needs to be changed in your car. Well, some of us do anyway. Or it do certain things. The car. You can if you listen. If that oil is not in the car, you could tear that car up. If you don't know when to put the oil in, you can tear that car, and they have some type of signs. The engine blows, right? So all I'm saying is that you have to take control of you. You have to take control of you. I can't say that and not be a doctor to say that I can take control of what goes on in my body. I have that control to do that. And I'm gonna be honest, it was more of a mental thing too, because I found out listening to other doctors and different people talk about the mental of hyperthyroid in terms of the stress levels, being really stressed out. When you run in a business, that's one of the hardest. Ownership is one of the hardest things. For me, it's easier to go punch a clock than to go figure out if I don't make this dollar on my own, you're not going to get it. You get what I mean? If we don't figure it out, or if we don't do, you know what I mean? So the stress levels are higher, is real higher. So, I don't know if that took toll over time, with me, because, I was put in this bad predicament, and it began to become mental with me, and I had to calm down. I had not take things so serious as I would, because trust me, I would take it very serious about life in general, about how you need to do this, what you need to do. And my wife, she I'm always thinking. I'm a thinker. I'm thinking when people sleep.
But thyroid and mood go hand in hand, though.
Say it again.
Your thyroid and your moods go hand in hand. If your thyroid, whether it's hyper or hypo, it's going to affect your moods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So,
was real moody.
it does affect you. But, in anything though, like with anything in medicine, there's anything with anything, there's an art and then there's the science.
Mm.
And so, we know the science very well. We get taught the science, it's drilled into us. But but the art comes with caring. And
Mm.
so you treat the person, not the numbers. And so
Wow.
that's where you create a partnership. And so then it becomes a mutual decision. If it's constantly just the doctor telling you what to do and you're fighting against it, find another doctor.
Wow. And that's
Because
Mm.
what
it should be a partnership.
You are your greatest health advocate.
Exactly.
That's
Especially, I mean, there's a disparity of in medicine. We tend to have the worst outcomes. We tend to get, and it's multifactorial, and it's from every single step along the medical continuum. And so it's not saying that you have to completely distrust what's being said, but you need to be educated so that you know when you're being told the truth, or you know when you're getting the whole truth, or you know what your options are. And
Mm.
it
That's
happened to
good.
me. I mean, I'm a physician. I know better. And there's a condition that sometimes happens with Black women. It's called peripartum cardiomyopathy. And basically what it is, you go into congestive heart failure after
Mm.
pregnancy.
oh.
I'm a doctor. I knew what was happening. And yet, when I went to get checked, I was told I had pneumonia.
Mm.
My husband, who's also a physician, um, he's a radiologist, and he looked at my x-ray and he said, that looks a little more like failure to me rather than pneumonia, but he was still in training, so I'll defer to the radiologist with more experience. 2
Mm.
weeks later, I was in the hospital with congestive heart failure because I was told I had pneumonia, even though I knew better. And so it's even as a physician, it's hard for us to fight that system.
Mm.
And so, so it's just really, really important that to follow your gut. If you just feel something's not right, then find something that feels right for you.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean ignore stuff because, I can't tell you how many times I've had people tell me I'm not taking my diabetes medicine, but I'm also going to not stop eating sugar because, God's going to take care of it.
Oh, listen, we can't even start on. Let's not start on God's gonna take care of it.
Take care of it.
Pray it
And
away.
I was like, yeah, God's going to take care of you in heaven because it's not going to be here on earth.
Yeah.
And so
That
you
goes
still
back
have
to
to be
mental.
smart about it. I mean, it still has to be done in a way that's intelligent, not just.
Now you doing something. Now you open up another can of worms on that part. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, now, especially with the Black community.
We don't have
open
enough
up
time.
another can. This woman, listen, let me say this. This lady, her child died from diabetes. Had a diabetes. What do you call that? I don't know. She was going through something, shock or whatever, and they were gathering around in prayer to pray for her. And I think the young lady died because they thought that the prayer was going to help. I mean, it was sad. I mean, so that's another can of worms that we go off into. Is it that we're so now? Let me say this: there's nothing wrong with believing. There's nothing wrong with having faith. And we're not even talking about that issue. But do we use that as a scapegoat to help us with our problems in terms of the food that we eat or sickness and disease? Do we use that as
we don't want to be held. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable. So whatever we can defer onto other things, we will, as long as we can still drink Dr. Pepper, as long as we can still eat ice cream.
Wow.
As long as that, this is what there's a mental game that we have to rise above before we can talk about any of this. We have to know that we have a future.
That we deserve it.
Oh, wow.
But to know we have a future, we have to know our real past. That way we can be more present. There's 3 points that we need to be successful. We need to know our past. That way we can be present on our future, making correct decisions in our future and in our present. That way we have a future.
That's good.
See, you're gonna make me not eat that vegan sliced cake that I already
You
have.
gonna make T stop doing that rum and coke.
We use, like I said, if we can defer things, like you said, vegan, we think just because we're vegan, we can eat a whole cake.
That's right. That's right.
And it's
That's
okay.
so not true.
There's things that we need to really ask ourselves,
That's
and
right.
people aren't comfortable. A lot of things that are going on in this pandemic and things are people who they're not okay with the silence that they have to sit in, because then they have to be accountable to some real questions. And they don't like the answers.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, because there's comfort food out there, whether you're
Yes.
vegan or non-vegan. There's still comfort food out there
Comfort from
on
what?
both sides of the fence. You know what I mean?
RW3 know about it.
Like we have to.
I know about what?
We got to deal. We have to deal and process things.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
We're
right. I mean,
focusing on the symptom and not the cause.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I think we had some good dialogue here. Do anybody want to chime in on anything else before we close this up?
We want them to share what they do.
We definitely, that's what we're going to get to, because I want you guys to, if you have a program or anything it is that you do that you want to put out there, that someone who need to know what that is, I mean, just put that information out so that they can reach out to you, because whatever it is that you do. And guys, you can start. How do you want to start in order? I'll let you lead that.
Oh, okay. Well, we can start with Dr. Catherine Toomer.
I was going to say let Jacqueline speak, because I've been talking a lot. She hasn't.
Okay, Jacqueline, go ahead.
Everything I was said was good. I just wanted to add that, I think people need to understand that they have to take responsibility. Like, you're responsible for where you are right now, and you can come up with so many excuses and say, oh, it's the pandemic that did this, or it's this or that. And like, we have access to so much information. Like, yes, I have a responsibility to provide this information. Just like Michael and Dr. Toomer said, that's our responsibility as a community to give that. But it's also the individual's responsibility to seek that information. And if you're in a place where you're uncomfortable or you're unhappy or you don't like your weight, you don't like that you don't have energy, you don't like that the doctor just told you have diabetes or hypertension, you're taking all this medicine, then you have a responsibility to figure out how the heck to overcome all of that. Because there's people who are doing it. My mom just had stage 4 cancer. She was on her deathbed in August, and she's in remission right now.
Wow.
Before that, was on high blood pressure pills, high
good.
cholesterol pills. She would not give up sugar. But when the doctor said your life depends on it, she gave up sugar. She took responsibility and said, I'm changing my life. She changed her entire lifestyle. And sometimes it takes, something traumatic or something like that to happen, but it doesn't have to get to that point. You can start today and say, you know what? I am not happy with where I am. I know I can do better. And you seek out the information that you need in order to do better.
That's right.
So
how can they reach out to you? I mean, what do you do? Is there anything that you have to offer? Any products, services that you can offer? Let's talk about that. Oh, we have your information up here now, but talk about it.
So I'm actually a coach. So I'm a health and fitness coach online. My program is all online. And that's what I help people with. I help them implement the system into their lifestyle specifically. So I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching. And then next month, actually, we're going to be launching something that's more for the masses. Because right now I just work with a selective few people at a time. And there is an application process, which if anyone is interested, they can reach me through email, which is on the screen, or through my Instagram at JJ Lomax as well.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Anyone else?
Right, Dr. Toomer?
I actually, very similar story. When 20 years ago, I went through a health crisis. I went into congestive heart failure, and I was an insulin-dependent diabetic, and the only thing I could control was my eating. And so I lost 60 pounds and then but from a program I created myself. And so now I actually help people customize that program for them. And it is Whole You Total Weight Loss, which is on Facebook, and totalweightloss.com is the my website, and it's total-weight-loss.com. And essentially what I do, I've taken my medical training and find the causes and help people with the cause. And I use a biopsychosocial approach because, as you know, Michael mentioned, it is about your biology, but it's also about your psychology, and it's about your social life as well. And so it's important to address all those things if you're going to be able to fix everything. And I just like to say, in our community, we are very, very distrustful in a lot of ways. And Michael, I don't know what your medical background, you mentioned you're a surgeon by training?
I was a surgical first assist that specialized in orthopedics and neurospine.
Okay. All right. Because I was just saying if I didn't know if you were a physician or not. And I was like, if you are, you need to let people know that because we just, but it doesn't really matter because as long as the information is good and it's coming from the right place, we really just need to help one another and help our communities because there's a whole lot of people out there taking advantage.
Mm-hmm. There is.
Yeah. Yes.
I guess I'll go. Myself and my wife, we have a health and wellness consulting business, and we also opened up a yoga studio in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's Tulsa's first BIPOC-owned yoga studio. We're flipping everything on its head here. It's our time. We help people. I'm interested in liberation from all systems of oppression that are meant to hold us down, to destroy us. Nobody wants to hold us down because there's no value in that. They want to destroy us, and we need to liberate ourselves from that. And the first thing we can do is our health. Take control of that. Once you have that, like, no 6-figure, 7-figure salary will do you any good if you're unhealthy.
That's right.
And you can't even attempt, if you're making that in the poor lifestyle choices that you're making, imagine what you can do if you were healthy.
That's right.
And then imagine what you can do with that. And it's not about like what you can buy, but you're freeing up your time to now help others, help your community, so we got to get back to this issue of, taking back ourselves, our time, our health, our minds, our spirits, and be the greatest things that we can be. You can just find me on Facebook. Sun People Yoga is the name of our studio. sunpeopleyoga.com. onrampwellness.com is our consulting company. And, give us a shout. We're here to help.
That's right. And guys, listen, here's the thing. We want our community to understand that there are professionals out there that look just like you. They are.
Representation matters.
Yeah. They look just like you. And you can, guess what? You can reach out to these individuals so that they can help you. They can help you. They want to help you.
I want to save you.
Real quickly, I went to this health guy, this organization here where we live at in Novi, Michigan. And oh my God, I went to this guy because I was, trying to find out about this thyroid thing and, trying to eat better and all this. I go, confident, walk in the door, we're going to listen to what this guy have to say. Right. So, obviously they take your blood. It costs a whole lot of money. It's not the doctor. They take your blood, but you have to pay for it, and they'll go run it and check it and all that, so they can tell you where you are in your life, right?
And how much you need to buy from them.
Exactly. And I went to get that done. It cost me about like $300-400 to get that done. So I mean, it was worth it. I would say it's worth it, but I want to anyway. So here's the thing, right? So he got it back. And now you got to pay him for him to read it.
Yes.
So now that was, it came out to almost $500 so he could read it. You get what I mean? So now he's reading it on Zoom, and me and my wife is there in the front room, and this guy, I can tell he's a salesman. I can tell you one thing. I know a salesman. I've been in business for a long time. I know a salesman when I hear it. I mean, that's fine. Sell your product. You're trying to make some money. So he sit there and he's reading certain things. And, he said, yeah, your T3 or something is pretty high. He said, listen, we got to take care of this. We got to get you together. He said, in fact, listen, he said, grab your wife's hand. So I grabbed her hand and he said, hold her hand. And he said, wife, look at your husband. And he said, and tell your husband, he said, you're going to die if you don't get this under control. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to this, Buster, and I'm like, what? I know you didn't say that. I thought you was going to say something else. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, because he was trying to get me to come to his place of business,
spend more money
and spend another $5,000.
Well, he wasn't completely wrong though. Having hyperthyroidism can be very dangerous.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that
what he was using was a fear.
Yeah, but he was using a scare tactic to get you to buy stuff.
We live in a society that we live in this fear-based society that we make decisions based off of fear instead of what's
instead of off of what's good for us.
Like I don't want to leave this job that I hate because I'm fearful that I won't be able to feed my family. Well, guess what? Right. That fear that keeps you at that job is the same fear that if you went out by yourself and worked independently would make you grind.
And I'm saying that we need people that we can trust. It's not about the money. It's about that I actually want to help you. I actually want to spend time. Yeah, I know I have to live. I know that we have to do, we have to take, that's why we have a business so that we can make this a capitalist society, so we can make money. I get that. But never base it off fearing. I mean, putting so much fear. I mean, I wasn't moved by the fear. I mean, I wasn't moved at all by it because I know what I do for me anyway. You know what I mean? So for my body. So and I'm still here talking to you now, right? With my levels even and basically normal now. So my thing is that, all I'm saying is that we have these individuals here. We have people that look like you. Now, I'm not saying people that look like us don't rob and steal from us either. I'm not saying that. But I am saying what I am saying is that we have to start looking into our own people and seeing how they can help us, because they can. Just because they don't look like you don't mean that, because a lot of times we have that stereotype, if they're not a certain color, then they don't really know what they're talking about. I want to be a certain race in order for me. I know people, listen, I know people that way as well. Been doing business for a long time. Again, like I'm telling you, I know people who don't mess with you because of your color. You know what I mean? So my thing is that's why we make this platform available. So for professionals like what you're seeing here, that's on this platform that you can hear. You can go there to their websites. You can talk. I mean, I'm really saying reach out to these individuals if you're going through this, whatever it may be, health challenges in your life, that these are people that here that are willing to help you, to help you. To help you. Don't necessarily look at the money. Look at, I'm helping you. I'm helping you so that you can be around next year. You get what I mean? Or to see your kids. Because I used to always think when I was eating crazy, man, am I going to see my son get a certain age? That's crazy when you're thinking that way. You know what I mean? So my thing is that, you want to be around if it's God, Yah's willing. If Yah will that you be around, then you will be around. But you have to take some necessary steps to make this thing happen. And guys, listen, I'm challenging you. I'm telling you now, reach out to these individuals because they're here to help. Yah sends wisdom through people, especially if they love him. He really sets them up so that they could be a blessing in your life. So I believe that these people are here to be a blessing to you. So you have to reach out and take the next step to contact these individuals. You want to do it different this year than you did last year. And guys, if I was to throw fear out there, it would be to say that, listen, COVID hasn't went anywhere. And here's the time while you're still alive to build that, get that immune system up the way it should be. You know, maybe they help you with that as well. I know zinc. I hear vitamin 3. I hear vitamin C. I hear all of these. Go to these professionals so they can tell you what it is that you can do to start that journey to building that immune system and getting it back in shape and healthy, whatever. Anybody else want to add on the co-host or host?
Well, I just want to thank for actually, you know, I joked about it, but actually that's a good idea. So tonight I'm starting with the water. I'm going to have it by the bed. So when I'm about to get up,
look at that.
I'm about to get up. I wish I show a picture of I have a whole counter full of snacks. So tonight I'm just going to have my water, and I'm just going to go ahead and knock down some water and just stay in the bed.
I'm telling you, feel better.
I'm going to eat my cheesecake and ice cream tonight. I'm just playing. Y'all don't even have no cheesecake.
I just, because I started a little something too, so I'm trying to stay within a 9 to 9 time frame. So I'm 12 on, 12 off. But, you know, again, I try to look at what's realistic in terms of a lifestyle change versus a diet change. And that's something that I think I can stick with, because sometimes I go to work, I don't get home till late, blah, 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 blah. So I think if I say 9 to 9, I can be successful with that. And if I do get hungry in the morning before 9, I will drink water. But that's not to say that I'm all perfect RW3, because I'm not. I fall off many times, but I know I have to get back on that horse. And again, you know, I hope that we can see more messaging, like some of our public health officials talking about systems and whatnot. Like, I would love to see, you know, messaging around just healthy eating for our youth to combat the countless McDonald's and Burger King, and I still can't understand the crave for the Popeyes chicken sandwich, but I don't eat meat. But still, like, I don't get it. But we need something to counteract what our kids are watching, because they are on the screens a lot more than they were. And again, even with my great plan as a parent, if you're not there to execute and oversee that plan, children, like, come on, we can't expect them to be like, okay, I'm going to eat celery and peanut butter instead of that bag of Cheez-Its. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. You have to stay on top of them.
Most definitely. And
So
like you guys said earlier, too, also, like you guys said earlier, it starts with you as the role model, the parent. So like me, I don't really exercise a lot, you know, and I know I need to start, you know, I keep saying, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go, you know, start, you know, moving around a lot more. And I just haven't. I don't know why. I used to get up and move a lot, but it's like lately I haven't. So I know it starts with the parents, like they said, so the kids can model that. So I guess I'm most definitely start moving around a lot more.
Right.
So
see, we made a difference.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Let me tell you something. I think they're putting something in that Popeye's chicken. I was telegraphed. It was like 15 people in line. I mean, the line is always long, but you don't see the KFC line long or the church's line long.
Wait a minute.
Popeye's chicken?
It's marketing. It's marketing and preservatives.
What do you mean?
They convince people. I've never had one.
That's right.
I you know, it's because I can't eat that kind of salt. But you know, people who have had it, half the people are like, you know, it's hype, and the other are saying, oh, I can see the hype. But either way,
nobody's making them drive there either.
Yeah, but the thing is everything, every single thing or choice we make or don't make, you have to ask why.
Yeah.
You just have to ask why. There's a reason. And the what you do or don't do is the result. But there's something behind why that is happening. And unless you address that why, it will not change.
Well, I mean, because let me ask you this. Now, there's people who are just curious. They were curious because of the big hype, social media put it up. See, listen, let me tell you this. Okay, so our background.
I wasn't talking about the Popeyes. I was talking about why, like, not getting up and moving.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, okay, yeah, that's right.
What? Like, it's a chicken sandwich. There's not much mystery behind, like, what's going to be the experience.
Well, it's psychology, but even that's why. The why behind people buying that sandwich is the psychology being used in the market.
It makes them feel a certain way. They're going to get some kind of feeling from this chicken. Like, it's going to satisfy something.
something.
What we need to do is replace that satisfaction with some positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
So
I guess what I'm saying is that you have people who are pushing it so hard on social media. When it first came out, I don't know about it now, but when it first came out, when you turn on social media, that's all you've seen. I tried the chicken sandwich. Yeah, you should go try it. And then it was the chicken versus what is that? Chick-fil-A versus Popeyes. So now everybody wanted to get in on the game. You know what I mean?
But you know why? Because when you walk in to buy it, the first thing you say, hashtag. They give you a hashtag to use.
It's money also.
And so they get you to go and post it. That was they used people to do their advertising.
It comes down to how you're using your social media, because they feed that stuff to you the more you look at it.
Right. But people don't understand that, you know, that's what it is. You just got to get out, and sometimes you got to turn it off. It just, we know, if anybody on this panel know, we know about advertisement. That's our background. So that's what we deal in. So, and I'm not even putting all my secrets out there either. So, you know, I mean, it's a mental thing. You have to, that's how you draw people in. So, that's, don't tell all the secrets. Let's get off this show now. Anyway, but that's what it is. Listen, we appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Kudos to you and your organization that you run, and the professionalism that you guys have, even on this platform. And we honor you guys for what it is you do in this community to help people out who definitely needs it at this time in this pandemic. And that's what I can draw from at this particular time. This pandemic, you know, is a lot of fear going on, and people are eating, people are doing a whole lot of stuff right now. So we need to, hey, calm down. Let's calm down first. We can't think when we think irrational. We have to calm down and put it together, meditate, whatever it is you need to do, but just calm down and let's look to some resources of strength and people who can make things happen in our lives that can change our patterns, and that will be you guys. So kudos to you. And we thank you for coming on the platform. And guess what? We made it through. We made it through the platform. And we say this all the time. We will. And I think I'm going to actually mean it. We're going to bring some people back. Well, we brought Jacqueline back. We brought her back. So we're not just saying it. We do it.
I just want to apologize. We just talked all over you, too.
She's the first one that came back.
To get a word in.
She was quiet in the last one we had. I think that's just part of it. She just quiet up too much. We had that debate. So
maybe we could do once a month.
Maybe we could try to get a health and wealth. Yeah, I want to get a health and wealth back on here. And I think it's necessary, especially in this time, and even after this, if herd immunity ever really kicks in, I don't really know, so how that works in this area. So if that even kicks in, if it do whatever, this need to be an ongoing thing where we constantly can bring reminders to people that they can, hey, you can make better decisions. To me, it's all about choices. You know what I mean? So you can make them. That's the authority that Yah has given you to make the ability to choose, so and that's what I believe anyway. So, but guys, thank you for coming on the platform.
Anytime.
Thank you for having me.
We'll look forward to seeing you guys, and we wish you blessings to your businesses, that it will grow and prosper and so forth and so on. So that's it. That's what's going on. So we'll talk to you guys soon. RW3 and Lovely T, stay on. So guys, so we thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week. Have a lovely day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. So So she just got okay. So
so we just
I forgot what I was gonna say that quick. I'm just turning 50. I don't know. This 50 thing really getting me, man. Look, I'm just playing.
Happy birthday. Whoop,
Did Lovely T check in on you yesterday?
Lovely T came on in.
Yeah. We was gonna play Family
We was
Feud.
gonna play
She stayed for like 30 seconds or
Oh, she
I
stayed
stayed
for
for
me. She's
as
gonna stay as long
long
as
as
the
they
game.
wanted me to
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yes.
appreciate everybody.
Yes,
We
lovely
definitely
Yeah.
appreciate it.
We're
Yeah,
not gonna talk about other people.
yeah. But I guess our next one that we're gonna have on, we're
We're
gonna talk
still
about.
live.
We still live.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. We still live.
So I was just making sure. I didn't know if you was going to
I
a
had
different topic.
nothing else. If you guys want to do some open, we can. It's up to y'all.
I didn't know we were still live. Yeah, okay. All right, but
Live.
yeah.
We are live still.
Yeah.
We still got people watching us right now.
Hey,
Okay.
y'all.
Oh,
Hey,
I
guys.
want to step out.
Yeah, I thought we was in the after show mode.
See, I needed you. I'm glad you said that. Lovely. I'm glad you said we was live. I was about to dig in deep.
Yeah, we was about to get into
Yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah, I'm
That's
so
why
glad
I
you said
felt
that.
it. I was like, oh, wait.
Oh my God, the
You don't want them
producers
to know our
sitting there got
secrets.
us out here.
We talking about Lovely T's distribution of marijuana.
Yeah, they'll tell you where your
This
safety net
reality
is.
show,
Oh
y'all.
my
She think
God,
it's a reality show.
the producer
Don't
have
be putting
got
no
us out
rumors
here.
out there.
She
If I
got
was
us out here
doing
in the
that,
street.
I boy.
She No, well, the thing is, I wish we could talk about those issues, but we can't, unfortunately, because of what's going on and digging in deep on that. You can't talk about nothing right now. So trust me when I tell you. So that's the thing. So, guys, listen, I'll just do this. If you have a business and you would like to promote that business, send us an email. Send us an email, what it is that you do and how you can help, especially if it's helping the community. Definitely send us an email.
Yeah, send it to iVision Studios channel at gmail.com. That's iVision Studio channel at Gmail. Our producer will put the email up.
Yeah, and send it to that email. And guys, we would definitely promote that business, or we even have you on to talk about what it is you do. It won't be a long time. It probably will be for under 3 minutes or something like that. Maybe we'll do an elevator. What do they call that?
Elevator speech.
An elevator pitch. Yeah, that's what we do. We do an elevator pitch that can be like in 3 seconds, 10 seconds or something like that. I mean, it was real short so that we can move on with the show. But if you do have a business that you're interested in letting your community know about what it is you do, please don't hesitate to help. We want to help you promote your business. We don't want you just to get the stimulus check and just depend on a socialist society. We want you to be able to still keep a capitalist society and make your money, whatever it is that you do, as long as it's legal. Obviously, we don't want you coming on in with some illegal stuff, thinking that you can promote that.
Not.
So, I mean, I'm just being funny, but true at the same time. So, we definitely want you to do that. Guys, we're gonna have a lot of we're gonna have an interesting show next week. We
got 2 topics next week.
2 topics if purposely. We're gonna talk about why don't he call you back? Why don't he call you back after that experience that you and him had, that relation that you guys had? Why don't he call you back? Say it again.
Sexual experience.
Yeah, sexual activity.
Yeah, well, I say relations. You know what I mean? Relations. After they have those relations, why don't he call you back?
So RW3 got an answer for us next week. I know.
We got some dating and relationship experts gonna be on next week, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have some experts on there
on our second portion of the show.
And maybe it's something that you need to tune in. The reason why you're not getting that phone call back, I don't know. Yeah, is it that he's using you, or is that he didn't like whatever happened? God, listen, and let me get there. So for my believers, whoever watched the show, I'm a believer, so I'm a believer. But my thing is that we're talking about this only because that maybe this will help someone to get it together. Maybe this will help them get it together. Sometimes you have to go down in those areas to pull people back up. You get what I mean? Maybe you'll stop being used. Maybe you'll stop understanding that I don't have to give myself up in order to feel that I'm loved. You know what I mean? Why I have to do this. Maybe I don't have to do this. And that's why we're talking about it. But, I don't want it to be just a religious show, because it's not. We talk about everyday life. I try to apply biblical principles with different things, but that's just coming from me. But from the other perspective, that's why I'm having this conversation. Why won't he call you back? Why won't he call you back? So we're going to talk about that.
And we're going to also revisit.
I know you can answer RW3.
We got some more. We're going to be revisiting our children next week, also about their mental health in terms of conflicts that's going on due to the pandemic. By them being at home, it's a lot of conflict going on, a lot of suicidal things going on too. So we're gonna revisit that. We have some professionals coming on next week as well.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
So,
I had heard a report real quick. I heard a report that or maybe it was a comment after a news story. They were saying that they've seen a higher incident of missing kids since the pandemic, and it's basically because they're tired of being cooped up. So they go against the rules. They go out, they sneak out to go be with their friends because they, can't be. So
oh, wow.
We're gonna be talking about all that.
Now that's pretty big right there, that you going all out and you putting yourself at danger while you're doing it. That's kind of weird. And guys, listen, I was on, and I like to throw this out there. How can I put it in words where, okay, so I can only take this what the news said. So you can't get me on what the news is saying. They had an article out where, and what do you guys think about this, where because of the 19 that's out, somebody received the V and receiving that V, 16 days, they died from it. You know what I mean? 16 days after receiving the V, they died. And then this other, either he was a political leader. He received the 19. He got the 19 after receiving the V. A couple of like a week later or something like that, he got and this news is a news report. It's on the news, so it's not something that is just bad news reporting. That he got both of the V's. He didn't just get one. He got the first and the second one. He got the first and the second V, and he's a political figure and got the 19 after that. That was kind of like, and the news report, the people said from that particular company made a statement to say, well, is only 95% effective. So I'm like, I mean, is any of this making sense? I mean, does any of this make sense? I mean, just like, does it really make sense? I mean, it's mind-boggling. About what's going on at the different individuals. I mean, there's a lot of people who haven't said, okay, now here's another thing. I went to the dentist the other day, and as I was walking down, I went to Michigan University. Was that Michigan?
University of Michigan.
Michigan dentistry. And I was walking to go to the different area that I needed to go to. I was listening to this nurse and this lady. They were walking, and they were talking loud, so you can hear the conversation, right? So she was like, yeah, well, I've already received the first V, and my husband, he received the first and the second one, and he said that the second V made him feel very, very tired. And she said that was the worst one. She said the second one around. And I was hearing the older lady was like, yeah, I heard that, and they closed the door, they was going in. I was like, wow, okay. So, I mean, it's a lot. It's just conversation out here that, I don't know. You just got to keep your ears open to whatever it is out here. But I mean, it's just mind-boggling to what you're hearing. And if you go on the CDC's website and look up those particular organizations and then read it, and they'll tell you about how what is that, allergic reactions. They'll actually tell you the allergic reactions, and they'll tell you that it's only 95% effective. And they're saying, I think on the CDC it'll say they're not saying that it's even
gonna, that it may.
Yeah, it may
work.
It may work. They're not saying, they're not guaranteeing you anything. And that's the key to this. So it's just a little weird to how, I don't know what they say about normal Vs, you know what I mean? The normal ones, but I know that's what they said about this particular one. And we both, I guess every one of us is hearing that about the 95%. You know what I mean? I don't know. Have you ever heard that with the normal V that is a certain percent effective? Have you ever heard that before? Any type of statement like that?
I hadn't until this particular pandemic. We're talking about vaccinations, right?
Oh yeah. We just not trying to say the word.
Oh,
we just gonna say the letter.
But
wow.
That's not something that until this pandemic.
We don't want to say the. Okay, you can say pandemic. That's right.
Yeah. Well, is certain words? Are those?
Yeah. You came on late. I couldn't tell you. Yeah. So, but they locking people up. Their pages up. So we got to stay away from certain words for the right now.
Oh, for that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You can't say it. Yeah, just keep away. Yeah, that's why I'm saying V and 19. So So.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So, traditionally, I haven't. Until this happened, I wasn't necessarily following, specificity with relates to those things. But I do know, and I've heard, even coming through that, they would say, by getting this, more than likely you won't. But I never got a percentage. And no one ever told me even previously those things were 100%.
Yeah. But we never heard that it wasn't either. You get what I mean? Like, you never heard it on television where they'll say it's only a percentage effective. I've never heard it.
The doctor told me though.
Huh?
The doctor told me.
Oh, okay. I never heard it. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just out there, and obviously they're saying, we don't know if this is the reason and this is the cause, like they always, how they do. And we checking it out. We're doing an investigation, but now the lady said that her husband was in great health. And actually he was a physician. He was in great health. And this happens after 16 days, after that. Is that a coincidence? I mean, you know what I mean? It's just weird.
From what I've heard, and I won't, I'll put a disclaimer out there and say the information was passed along to me via conversation. But my understanding is that even with the flu shot, it's only like 50% effective. And because there's so many strains of the flu, that's why we have to kind of take it every year. So I'm not surprised that some of these vaccines, and really 95 is the highest percentage, because I think the one through Africa is only like 80%. Like it's even less. So I think we should not think of the V as the be all end all. I think that's the mistake. I think that's the illusion. It is what it is. It's a vaccine. It's made by a human, so therefore it is susceptible to error and flaw. And I don't think there's any medication that comes on TV now, thanks to legislation, where you don't hear some, laundry list of side effects possible when taking the medication. And so I think, if anything, again, it is the CDC as well as these pharmaceutical companies to give that information, to say, if you take this vaccine, here are the potential side effects, so that I, as the consumer, can make an informed decision. But yeah, to think that they're going to put something out that's flawless for the masses of people, like, we don't know who has some underlying condition that was aggravated and agitated by the vaccine. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, everybody is different. So to think that they're going to build something or make something that's not going to have any negative consequences for anyone, I think is naive.
And let me add this, and even with I have a leave here, I have multiple things here, and there's no guarantees with anything unless you do natural, because some people do natural. There's some doctors, some people I know do natural. Like my cousin, he didn't get chemo, and his cancer, he found a natural healing doctor, 100% natural, and he doesn't have cancer. So unless you go that route, I mean, I don't care what you get over the counter. I mean, we're talking about V now, but anything in my cabinet, there's a potentiality of a side effect of anything that we take. I just, so.
So in saying that, that means you'll be in line next week or a week after next when it comes, right?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is no.
You gotta make your mind up, though. Why would you not
I
do it?
Up.
Why you wouldn't do it if you think that it's good?
No, I'll just see. This is the thing. I mean, you'll be a great politician. But look, I didn't say it was good. I just gave you facts of medication. I didn't give you my opinion either or.
But you
I
made
didn't
it,
give you opinion.
put it on a level ground and say that it's safe. It's safe. I mean,
who said that? You
you
said that?
You said it.
You hear that, Lady B? Did you hear me say safe, Lady B? You didn't even say
safe. You might as well have said safe. You said it. I mean, I'm just saying, though, that means you gonna be in line, right?
You're asking me. I guess you want me to say it again, like nay, no, net in Russian.
You should be in line.
Because see, all I have to do, just like when people do with any other, because if you get, for example, if 95% of the population gets it, you really don't have to get it because won't nobody have it to pass to you. So you don't have to go get it.
Well, I don't know, because they don't know if because you don't get symptoms that doesn't mean you're not a carrier. So that's the other thing. They don't know enough.
I was saying when getting it, I say getting it.
Yeah.
In theory, they say it's a 95% chance that you're not gonna get it. So if you're asymptomatic or not, it don't matter if you got the shot.
But I'm saying if you're saying you're not gonna get it because you're depending on herd immunity, I'm just saying even if 95% of people did get vaccinated, they still could be a carrier. Therefore, without the vaccine could still potentially catch it, even though they've been vaccinated. That's one of the arguments out there, is that they don't have enough information to say just because you get the vaccine doesn't mean you're not a carrier.
And I'll probably live.
But see, now that's the problem that we're having that's the struggle that we don't understand, or what I might say, the confusion that, you're saying that it's 95 and there's a chance that you could still be a carrier. Well, and obviously you can be a carrier, but if you take it, then you have a better chance. But is that the same thing with washing your hands and putting a mask on and keeping your distance? Because they said you still, even after getting it, you still should keep that same routine.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that. And I just don't think that some of these practices are gonna just, when we have time for enough people to get vaccinated, I still think some of these practices should pull through. And I remember looking at other countries and everybody walking around with masks on their face and thinking like, why are they doing that? That's so crazy, But yeah, I don't think, masks are going to just 100% go away, because we don't know what's next. We don't know, we have various strains of this. What's next? So some of these practices of social distancing, and we've always been told to wash our hands. That's part of universal precaution, but it just has more meaning now. The consequences are real. It's in our face, so.
Do you think it's going to change? Do you guys think that we're going to stick? Do you think this masking up is going to be forever? It's just now the thing now?
I think we will see remnants of it. I don't think we will see it on a mass scale, especially once the new president puts out a federal order, which I don't know if he's going to follow through with that, but I believe that was one of the things he was talking about for at least a brief period of time to put out a federal order for us to wear masks. So of course, that's why we have upheaval at the level we do now, because people's rights feel like they're being infringed upon. But do I think it'll be at the mass level that it is now? No, but I do think people are going to choose to incorporate that into their everyday.
Yeah, because my daughter asked me that the other day, and I said, I think people are still going to wear it because they just going to be afraid.
Yeah.
And they don't, and you know how it is, it's becoming a habit now. So now it's like, it's part of your practice to have your mask. And because of them saying it's like, you don't know not to wear it or to wear it. You know what I mean? And do I even want to take that chance? Because it's possibility you could still have it, the Rona. You get what I mean? You can still have it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's deep thought. It's deep thought. Out here, it's dangerous and it's deep thought. But now getting back here, what about what's going on with your boy? And we not gonna say his name. I'm not talking about 45. I'm talking about 46 son. Y'all heard about 46 son. His son being caught up in all that. You should know to pull it up. He caught up in a whole lot of stuff.
I know, but my thing is, it's irrelevant.
You think so? I think it shows. I think what it does to me, how can you see? Here's the thing to that. The reason why I look at it as not being irrelevant is because if it's in your family, now, how can you be that high up of a person in politics and you're not aware of ongoings or things of certain mass of type of money that's been going on in your person's life? Because y'all, for one, y'all close. And you know what I mean? And you mean to tell me you could be, and nobody's sending signals your way to say, hey, listen, you need to holler at your boy because we in this same thing together. I heard your boy doing this. I heard this. You get what I mean? And you don't address it to say, hey, listen, boom, boom, boom. But you just let the cards fall. To me, it shows, it continuously to show or to prove me, quote unquote, what I feel that makes me justified to say both of them are no good. Both of them are no good. And they both play the same game. One just happened to get caught and the other one just don't get caught. You got two type of people in this world. You got the quiet person and you got the person who just got the big mouth, who tell everything it is that they do. And then you got the one who sit back in secret, but you can know by, things that goes on, but he just don't ram it at all. So I guess that's my thing. And that just, to me, added to what I already believed in the first place. You know what I mean? That the families, we're talking about.
Well, again, it's yet to be seen. It's yet to be seen what's going on because, like, I do agree with you. Like, you do have people who talk a lot and people who say, very little at all, but are doing harm. Again, I always say time is the great equalizer. So time will tell, time will reveal to us, Biden's and his agenda. That's the word I'm looking for. But I do think that even with all of that, if we can put up with the person, being lewd, being rude, being nasty, and still defend him on some of his policy decisions, some of his decisions with economics, I think, we certainly have space to give the incoming, president the same opportunity to see what he does holistically versus, trying to come to some type of conclusion based on, one incident, because the previous one or the current one, however you look at it, he got a whole laundry list of infractions if that's the case.
And I think it's more because of the word that he spoke. Because I'm gonna be honest, I really believe most of the people who did go out there and stamp their name and write into this, I don't want to use the word because I don't want to, but who actually went out there and signed their signature, they really didn't know the policies on both sides. They just went basically because of, just like it was that thing where people voted for Obama because he was black. I used to hear that a lot. I only voted because he was black. Dummy. You said, I only voted because he was black. I didn't have other. And see, I'm going to be honest. That what pisses me off to the fullest degree. The majority of people do things based on what they hear in other people because we don't go look at the facts. We don't go look at pulling up paper and you looking at it. That's why it's so many. That's why religion is so jacked up the way it is, because we hear what the pastors say, but we don't go do the research ourselves, and we just believe because of what we see and heard someone else said, but we don't go look it up ourselves. Because I still believe that if that person never was on these social media platforms, it will be a different outcome. I really believe that. I just really, based on, because people really don't know, they just know what they hear, and they go with what they hear, and that's it. They don't, and I think presidents they actually depend on that. This whole thing was ran on that. If you really want to know the truth, this whole thing was ran on that alone. I looked at the different things that were going on with the two people talking, and I'm listening with my ear. I got ears, common sense, and you never heard policy. You never, I mean, if you did, it was very, very little, but you never really heard policy. All you heard was, well, this and this and that. Well, he doing, if he just get off this, I was like, okay. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I always like to talk about different things that's going on. But again, like you said, we gonna find out, because what's going on is what's going on. Something's about to happen. This guy's about to be in, and that we're gonna know in that first 100 days. But we already seeing signs. I see the signs already. Just because of this just happened with the sun. I already see that it's the closet doors already opening and all this stuff about to fall out. All these bones is just about to fall out of the closet. Oh, I didn't know he was that way. Yeah, okay. They both were.
I don't know. I mean, I there probably will be some things, but the fact that the president coming into office has been in public office damn near all his adult life. Yes, everybody has their secrets, but because he's been in a public office, he's had to kind of walk a certain walk already, knowing that he was in the public eye. And again, that's not to excuse him, because we find, politicians every year, somebody's in some type of scandal, but I'm just saying, like, for him to have lasted this long, he was the vice president, like he's been in the public eye for some time. So it would really, it would kind of surprise me if it was just something like big, huge that comes out about him. Now his son, his children, they make their own decisions, but
Right.
For him, I don't think we're gonna find too much,
And the fact that what I think is going to come out, they're going to, I don't know, but they're going to, I'm thinking what's going to happen. I'll tell you my personal thoughts. What I think is going to come out, something that whatever his son has been doing, if he has been doing anything, and they're going to come to the conclusion, well, that's your son, your adult son, you had to know about it. No different than his son has dealt with drug addiction, and I'm sure he tried to stop him, but he couldn't stop his son from using.
Yeah,
I mean,
hold on.
When adults decide to make decisions, I mean, just because that's his father, they'll mean he can stop him. And we don't know if whatever he's doing, if Biden is aware of it, he may have communicated, I don't think that's a good idea. You ought not do this, that, or the third, just like any other parent, but you still can't stop him from doing it. So it may come out that, well, because his son was doing this, the father had to know. I mean, that's okay.
Birds of a feather.
Now, what I don't think is going to come out, him and his son have collectively have some type of criminal behavior, and they're gonna have evidence of that. I don't believe that is gonna come out.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't think. Here's the thing. Like you get obviously, I mean, obviously you can't put two in this. That's an obvious statement. That's not, because those are just general statements. You have something there are general broad statements, and what you said is a broad statement. It's very obvious what both of you guys said, but it get deeper than that when you start pointing at specifics. You know what I mean? Specifics, so my thing is, the specifics is that if I were to think again, if I ran with a certain group of people and being who I am for so many years, you can't tell me that nobody is going to run something across my mind or bring something to me because of the game that I'm just in. I'm in a game where I hear everything because I'm a politician. I hear everything. And guess what? I float around people with money. That's just the millionaires float around millionaires, and word get in the street about certain people, and your person can come up too. So I'm quite sure he was aware of it. I'm quite sure.
Say he's aware of it. Mm-hmm. And what? So what?
Well, I don't think life is about so what. I think what it is I think that sometimes birds of a feather flock together. So my things is this. Sometimes you could take on the mindset to say that we always be proud of our kids. Okay, let's go there. We proud of the accomplishments of our children and the things that they do. So, what they do is about, at the end point, making money. So when my son is making this amount of money, hey, son, I'm proud of you. And I know what you're doing. You get what I mean? But I'm proud of you because those of our kids. We're not just saying, I thought you was going to be a good boy, but you didn't come out to be nothing. In fact, I don't want you near this situation here. He wasn't like that. He was near him. You see what I mean? He was near his situation. So I guess my thing is, I'm just pointing out specifics and not making broad statements. It's just that, I guess, and to say that, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And in the biblical sense, perfect doesn't mean getting everything right. Perfect means being mature to a certain area to know when it's time to give it up. You get what I mean? So we get perfect in this Western society, and the whole English language we actually is redefined from where we come from. So the English language is toe up in a lot of areas. Our meaning for words is not the same as you think in other areas for the meaning for word. So anyway, so my thing is that, I just believe that birds of a feather flock together. You know what time it is, but it's time for you to set an agenda. It's your time to shine now, to fulfill what it is you want, your part. And guess what? We are going to sit and watch. But here's the thing. I'm going to go noting saying this, because this is still January. Whoever did the handwriting, you brought it in. So whoever did the handwriting, so you're the one who brought this in, and you're the one who's going to have to deal with whatever the consequences is, because we got to stop saying, as a Black community, the only way we're going to get it right is we in the game. That's not true. That's not true. The only way we're going to get in is we got to stop what's going on. But I don't believe it's meant, again, for Black America to be a part of this or what's going on. I think we're supposed to have hands off, but we'll learn one way or another, because the Bible said we are stiff-necked people. Meaning we're very stubborn people. We are stiff-necked people. We're very stubborn in what we do. So I do get that as well. But let's see what happens. And guess what? I'm excited. I'm like this one guy who said that he's sitting back and he just eating popcorn. He got his popcorn ready. He got his drink ready. And when that certain thing broke out, all he was doing was laughing on social media, eating his popcorn. Say, I told you this was going to happen. And guess what? I got my popcorn. I'm going to stick it in this.
I'm happy too, because my pizza will be delivered in a couple minutes.
We finna get off, but I'm going to stick
I'm good, They are not going to know.
I'm gonna stick this in y'all face. Every time I hear something,
I don't understand why.
You gotta hold on. You gotta be ready for it now, because I'm gonna stick it in your face.
Stick it in our face?
It's so hard. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put banners up. Soon as I see the next thing happen.
Why would you stick it in our face?
Because come on, man.
No. What we said, we're gonna reiterate it again. We said. She can speak for herself. What we said was, we don't trust either one of them.
I said that.
No, we said to Democratic Republican.
You never said that.
No, we did. And we said that we believe the 46 is the lesser of two evils. Like, I wouldn't be shocked about nothing.
It ain't. I'm gonna stick it in both of y'all face, and I can't wait.
I'll say this though. What we can stick in your face for a fact. We know that all the turmoil with 45 is not going to happen in this term. And we're going to stick that in your face.
Because at the end of the day, he's not a disruptor.
You said they're the same. You said all of them the same. And what we got before, we're not about to get now.
Let me say it again. I want you to reiterate that because it's recorded. Say it again now.
For a fact, all the turmoil and conflict, impeachments, all the stuff that was going, investigations, Russia, all that, for a fact, throughout the turmoil of this, touching women's vagina, all that stuff is not going to happen during this administration.
Well, now you're talking about, but now in that area, you're talking more, we got to watch, make sure we watch what we say on the words. We got to make sure we watch what we say on the words. I hope that didn't hit us. But okay, so my thing is now you talking about character. See, some of those things in there you added was character, and I'm not
character
talking about
counts when you're the president of the United
Absolutely.
States.
Well, no, I'm not talking about. Listen, I'm not talking about character. Now, obviously, we won't see those things. I can tell you, we're not going to see those things. I don't think that we're going to see those. I don't think we're going to see those things. But I'm telling you, I'm talking about as a society, is things going to change for the better? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
His person.
I mean, we don't know.
His person.
I mean, we don't know. I don't know.
Well, I know. I do. You should know.
I mean, I don't know what's going to change for the better.
No, because I think Trump would have probably got in had it not been for the pandemic.
45. 45.
I'm sorry. Yes, because he, the economic situation was I guess looking up to the right people. The people who control the narrative. And so I think he would have come across very differently if this pandemic didn't hit and it totally, turned the course for a lot of people. So we don't know what's to come in 2021. Like,
I know what's to come. It's not going to be what you think. But my thing is this.
We're not thinking anything, Tone.
Well, no. Well, obviously you're not, because you voted. You ain't going to go there. But my thing is, so say I can get you on that one. But my thing is, I know you wouldn't. I know you're not. I know.
I didn't vote at all.
Huh?
I didn't vote. Period.
Oh well, kudos to you. Kudos to you.
I didn't vote. Period.
Well, see, I didn't see. You can't see. Okay, see, but you never said that. Okay, well, now I gotta take back everything I said, because I gotta take back everything I said. See, I didn't know that, so now I gotta pull back. See, now you left me where I don't have any ammunition because of you making that statement. So so I can't.
You still have ammunition, because I still think between the two.
Well, bottom line is that I got my popcorn. I can't say it. I can't say it for RW3. Now I got to point to lovely T.
You can say
well, I mean, yeah, but that's not. You could say that, but your hand got to be on the right. You get what I mean? You have to. You can't just say that and then don't sign a dotted line. You know what I mean?
Like our guest said, we don't have time for people to be on. Oh wait, that was a movie.
Yeah, you talking about a movie? You talking about Hollywood?
I'm just playing around though.
I was looking at One Night in Miami produced by Regina King, and I think it was Malcolm. He said we don't have time to be playing a fence. You need to pick a side, because Black people are dying.
That's why you don't need to pick a side. You need to stay away. because we know we're doing it. I mean, my thing is that I know that that's not the solution. There's other solutions, but that's not the solution. That's not the we keep playing that same old game like it's the solution, and it's not the solution. And that's why we keep getting the same old stick handed to us, because they just believe that, yeah, it's the solution. Hey, do this. Now look at him. He called him on the phone, and they looking for help. Even that BLM movement was calling him on the phone, and they ain't even getting a return call back. You see what I mean? So my thing is, you know what I mean? These are articles like we waiting on you. What's up, brother? You said this, and they ain't get no response back.
I don't think you'll meet with Ice Cube in there.
No,
like he said he was.
He's not. They not. I mean, but listen, I'm not targeting. I'm not targeting either side. I'm saying they're both. I'm looking at our people because I care about my people. So it's not about that. I'm just saying. So don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing any thing on what people's percept or what they do. I am just saying that platform, I just believe we could use better platforms. We need to start taking a better platform, looking at other options to make our people become better, to better our people, because that old way of doing things is broke. It's so broke, it's torn down, and it's never going to change if we keep keeping the same mindset. And I guarantee you it would have been a different outcome if we all would have turned our power, meaning that right to do that, somewhere else. They would have been running after us, begging us, what you want? What you want? We'll do this, we'll do that, or we'll do this for you. You know what I mean? Please, please. I think we would have got that type of response back. And I think that people are getting it, because there's some people who I know, there's a lot of people I know who didn't make that choice. It's a lot, and I was surprised at the big names that said they didn't for that same reason. They're tired of the okie doke. And everything. So, but yeah, I don't want to lead you along, because I know RW3 got to get his deep dish.
No, I got lazy. They delivering it.
Oh, I mean, it's still a deep dish. I mean, where you get it from? Pizza Populous?
Pizza Populous. I was on my restaurant connection. It wasn't on the list, so I'm getting Buddies, the one on Northwestern Highway.
Oh, okay, Buddies. I don't know. Have we had Buddies before back in the day?
Out here, we had the vegan one. Though.
Yeah. But Buddies the one that give you the smaller one, don't they?
I'm getting the 8-piece.
Vegan give you the small stuff.
Oh, you gonna eat the 8-piece by yourself?
No diggity, no doubt.
You just told man. This man was just on the show talking about he gonna drink the water.
Come on now.
Oh, it's 7:03. Can I eat a couple slices of pizza then?
You said you whole pizza. 8 slices of
no,
deep dish.
I'm not leaving out the house no more for a couple of days, so I'm gonna eat some tonight, some tomorrow.
Now let me ask you this: their deep dish is not like, when you say deep dish, you talking about like that Pizza Populous deep dish, that pie, or you talking about that?
Well, Buddies has got the square, but Pizza Populous got that deep, thick dish. That's what I wanted.
Well, I'm asking you though, is Buddies like the pie, like that deep?
No, it's just a square pizza. No, it's not deep like that. No.
It does have a thicker crust than your regular, hand toss. But I would agree, it's not as deep as Pizza Populous.
Oh, okay. That's different then. So the 8 slices, you gonna eat about 4 slices?
About 3 or 4, because I want some dessert. I got some cookies, so I need room for the cookies.
That's on the health
and milk.
Wow. We need to call our professionals up and get on. They need to
look at you like I done lost weight. I'm gonna get it back.
They need to unpack what's in the closet and help you answer the question, why are you eating 4 slices of deep dish pizza?
Right. I thought he was about to say he was somebody else there gonna eat it with him. Right. I ain't gonna lie. I've knocked off whole pizzas, and it wasn't. I mean, it's been years ago. But I'm saying I've knocked off whole pieces and didn't share it. You know what I mean? Just knocked off whole piece. So I can't say I've never did that before. So it's easy to do that. Huh?
No green, nothing to help flush out.
Nothing else, but yeah.
Oh yeah. How much green have I eaten a day, Lovely T?
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, good, good for you. That's good. That's good. That's
Green
good.
candy bars,
Green candy bar.
cookies.
So no, but that's guys. That's it for the show.
that's it.
I know
All
everybody
right.
got to get to their munching. I'm hungry too because I only ate this whole day. I think I only ate a couple of pieces of cantaloupe. I ate about 3 or 4 pieces for
That
the
was
whole
good.
freaking day. That's all I had. So I'm gonna get home and eat something.
Yeah.
So, but that's what's going on, guys. Listen, we love you.
Yes.
Obviously, I really didn't know we were still live, so we just kept it going on. So I'm just gonna be keeping it 100 with you. But yeah, we love you, guys. We thank you for tuning in. We didn't really have that big of a number today, maybe because of the conversation. But guess what? I know that this is still gonna be on the it's gonna still go on. You can still look at it. I mean, if you hear me this far, that means you done looked at it, right? So I don't even need to save my time, save my breath in that conversation.
Well, it's gonna be live next week.
But it's gonna be live and on fire next week. We're gonna turn up the volume for our people out there. So RW3
asks us why people don't call back.
No. You're the expert on that.
I mean, no. Maybe you could tell us what you've been told.
So
now,
but keep that keep that for next
if
week.
they don't call back, then they ain't telling me nothing if that's the case, right? So maybe I don't have that problem.
Keep that next week.
Next week.
Next week.
Keep that for next week. Keep that one for next week.
Even if you ain't experienced that, we notice in our podcast you have an opinion. If they start talking about French cuisine, if you ain't cooked it, you still got an opinion.
You know what? If I didn't, I probably wouldn't have been asked to be on the show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We need that opinion. That's right.
We do.
That's right. We definitely need it. So, guys, listen, we love you guys. We thank you for the show. It's time to end it. And we'll see you next Sunday. You definitely want to tune in for next Sunday's pod. So we can lay it out there and we get people's opinion and just have this conversation, this adult conversation, and that's what we want to have, adult conversation. And guys, so I hope that you're finding yourself being safe out there in this pandemic. Be safe, make better choices while you still can make better choices.
One slice of pizza and a salad.
One slice. Well, that's good. One slice of pizza salad. That's a good thing. I don't think I can commit to that if I was eating pizza, one slice of pizza. You got at least
all right, two slices and a salad.
I could say now for me, I can at least eat 4 in a salad.
Deep dish?
No, deep dish I can only eat 2. I can only eat 2, depending on the deep dish. Now
I can do 1 because I get
if it's the pie, I can do about 2 of them. If I can do 2 if it's the pie, possibly 3, but no more than 3. Because when I drink in the soda, and I'm gonna be full. I'm gonna be hit. You know what I mean? So because the gluten is in it, the gluten is gonna get you right then and there. So that gluten gonna tear you up. So that's gonna fill you up right there alone. So, but guys, anyway, go eat your pizza.
Y'all.
That's right, and we'll talk to you soon. Lovely day. Have a lovely day.